I'm Julie Williams of Migration Down Under, and I'm here to talk about partner visas. There are a couple of different kinds of partner visas. You've got the provisional prospective marriage visa and you've got the spouse visa, either based on de facto or married. And the de facto and married spouse visa can be an onshore or offshore application, whereas the prospective marriage visa, you must be offshore to apply. And the prospective marriage visa allows you to come to Australia for 9 months and be with your fiancé and marry within that time. Whereas the married spouse and the de facto spouse visa is based on your relationship already being in a spousal relationship, whether that be married or de facto, and that can also be same-sex partners as well. The spouse visa, regardless of whether you're de facto or married, does require you both to be living together, or if not living apart for an extended period of time. So it's often much easier to lodge an application for a spouse visa onshore if you are basing it on you living together as a de facto or married couple. Unfortunately, the marriage certificate doesn't automatically guarantee you a visa, which is often the mistake that many people make. They think, oh well, how about I get married? That will often be make it a lot easier, but not necessarily. If you've got a genuine relationship and you're living together as a de facto couple, that will be sufficient to be able to apply and successfully obtain a visa for Australia. With any relationship for the married or the de facto partner visa, if the relationship hasn't been for 3 years, then it will be a provisional visa that's granted first up, and then they will reassess the application 2 years from lodgement to assess whether you're still in that relationship and grant the full permanent residency. If you are married and have been in a de facto relationship for 3 years or more, then you will be applying and being granted the permanent residency straight away. Both applications you are applying for permanent residency. However, if, as I said before, I don't like to repeat, but if the relationship's been less than 3 years, then you will be granted a provisional visa. It gives you all the same rights as permanent residency. It just doesn't give you access to certain social security benefits. So it does give you the work rights, it does give you access to our national healthcare scheme, Medicare, and it does allow you to travel in and out of Australia until the permanent residency is granted. The prospective marriage visa, that's for couples that haven't been living together and plan to get married in the future. And this is a good one for people that are overseas and are not ready to come to Australia straight away, but they do have plans to get married. The visa is a provisional visa, it is temporary. It does give you full work rights, and it does give you multiple re-entry in and out of Australia once it is granted. It just doesn't give you access to Medicare. And the main requirement for the prospective marriage visa is that you have actually met in person and that you do plan to get married within 9 months of grant of the visa. So considering the length of time the processing takes for these types of visas, you will have plenty of time before you have to get married. Unfortunately, processing is quite lengthy, both for the married spouse, the de facto spouse and the prospective marriage visa. On average, they're all taking a minimum of 12 months. Sometimes with the offshore applications, which is the prospective marriage visas, which are all currently processed by the overseas post, depending on what country you're applying from, can be a lot quicker than the 12 months. Otherwise, yes, you can expect to wait a good 12 months for the processing. The prospective marriage visa, once you have lodged it and you're keen to get together, and if you're the sponsor here in Australia and don't want to be the one continually travelling overseas to be with your partner, you can certainly apply for a visitor visa and have them come stay and visit you whilst you're waiting for the prospective marriage visa to process, as many people do that. The cost of the visa it is quite expensive, the government fees. For the prospective marriage, de facto and spouse visa, it is currently in the vicinity of $6,865. It's a big fee, and so that's why it is important to get the application right the first time, because you don't want to be lodging an application and not getting it right and not understanding the criteria, because once you do lodge that application, there is no refund of the government fee. And it's not just completing the form and reading a checklist off the website, which unfortunately many people make that mistake, especially those that are married. They think, oh look, I'm married, it's very easy, I just need to fill in a form, I need to attach some supporting documents. There's actually, it's a legal document, and therefore there's a lot of legal criteria behind the application that many people are not quite aware of, especially the policy with each law, each regulation. There's pages of policy, and that's how the case officer interprets and determines how they assess that criteria for your visa. So it's best to get it right the first time, because unfortunately partner visas do have the highest rate of refusal.